Hi, it's Dave. Welcome. Today, I'm joined with Vincent Yu. He is the CEO and founder of Tesmanian. He has been a vocal supporter of Elon Musk, Tesla, and SpaceX on Twitter and social media. I want to welcome you, Vincent.
Thanks for having me, Dave. Yeah, it's my honor to be on your show.
Awesome. Yeah. It's been fun corresponding with you over the years, also following you on Twitter. I'm curious, like, how long have you been on Twitter? I mean, and how long have you been focusing or just talking about, Twitter, SpaceX and Tesla and
Uh,
Elon?
I'm on Twitter since 2013, but from 2013 to 2016, the end of 16, mainly I just use a Twitter account to browse around, do research and stuff like that. And in the early days, like we usually stay on the TMC back then, for the research about the investment and the car and stuff like that. And since um, 16, 2016 and 17, I starting to post stuff on Twitter about Tesla. Yeah.
Mhm. It's been a crazy few years.
Yeah, it's crazy because back then the mainstream media, from what we know, is like it's kind of like mainly focused on negative news. We call the FUDs about Tesla, and to a point I was like, I have to do something to speak out. Like I see the disconnection, like a big disconnection from what we know and what the mainstream media telling people. Yeah, that's a big disconnection back then.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff going on with Tesla and SpaceX every day, every week.
Yeah.
How do you keep up? I mean, is this just all consuming for you, like all day long you're in it, or what's your approach?
Um, it's like I love to spend time to do research and more like deep dive into like what's going on and why people being bearish or optimistic about the company. So um, that's why I just enjoy doing the research and plus I personally invest in Tesla, so we have to keep up what's going on. So and might as well it's like, okay, why don't I just share some information on Twitter, and it is how it starts. Yeah.
Hmm. Awesome. So, in today's discussion interview, I wanted to go back and forth with some questions from some Twitter followers.
Sure.
And then I also want to just go ahead and ask some questions on Tesla, on SpaceX, kind of your background. The first question is from a Twitter follower, Quantum Superposition. He says, what was Vincent up to before Tesla, and how did he get involved, and some background on how he started his Tesla related businesses? So yeah, could you share a bit more on kind of um, what was kind of your pre-Tesla life? What was that
Sure.
like?
Yeah.
And kind of how you got involved,
uh,
a little bit more.
yeah. Uh, I don't know where to start. It's a long story though. um like in the first year of my college, like I start my own business with cell phone business. So back then, like they have the authorized dealers instead of like the AT&T. Back then was Pacific Bell, if you remember, like long time ago.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah, the old school stuff. And like I'm into the cell phone business, and then I start to invest in Apple, and then till 2013, my one of my good friend, also my neighbor, he bought a Model S. Back then was like I forgot, 75D,
Mhm.
yeah, something like that. And I test drove the car, and I was like, wow, it it surprised me because and around 2013, already sold my cell phone dealer business and into the auto parts. And I'm a car person. Like I do a lot of track racing with my friends, and I have the auto parts business till now. And I was like, wow, the electric car is quite fascinating. The horsepower, the performance is quite amazing. And I was like, okay, maybe I should put some money into Tesla. And I kind of do more research about Elon Musk. I said Elon Musk, and he was also the founder of the PayPal. I was like, okay, um, that that's quite interesting for me to deep dive into this company. I didn't put a lot of money back in 2013 because um, I'm back then I still being like very skeptical about how successful will the transferring from ICE to EVs, because I still think like back then still think like the EV is not the mainstream yet. It will take a long time for the adoption to happen. And but since then I keep doing more and more research about the company, the the history, and the conviction was keep going up more and more, and yeah, just keep putting more money into it, and yeah, and till right now.
Got it. What was your cell phone business? Were you selling actually cell phones and cell phone plans in a retail store, or
Yeah,
what was it
back
like?
then was like you sell the the service, so you sign up contract with end user, and then the cell phone carrier will give you commission per line. So, and also on the side you can sell some like accessory like car charger, um, desktop charger, and also the phone case and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow. So how many years did you do that business for?
I would say 5 years,
Okay.
5 to 6 years. Yeah.
Got it.
And then I sold the entire business to my previous business partner, and I started my own auto parts
Hmm.
business. Yeah.
Can you talk a
Till
bit
now.
more about that? Like, how did you start an auto parts business? Was it
Good.
something
Uh,
that you were thinking about, or someone told you about, or how did you, get started with that?
okay. I, I'm a car person, so I love like cars. Like so, back then when I had the cell phone business, I already got involved into like track days and stuff like that. And
What cars were you like? What car did you own? Curious.
you mean from before till now?
No, oh, just like,
Like
yeah, track. What were you racing on the tracks?
uh like I start with Honda Civics,
Hmm.
yeah, and then mainly Japanese car, and then till the Evolution, the Mitsubishi Evolution, and Porsche Cayman S, and then the GT3. Yeah, and then I got married and have kids, and my wife is like, "No more racing. It's too dangerous. Like stop it." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, yeah, yeah." All the fun gone once you have kids.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you're racing, and then what happened? How did you transition into kind of starting an auto parts business?
Um, I see like because I see the the authorized business method back then is more going down the hill. Like the competitive, like you can see like a lot of people around you is they start the cell phone store, and they start to sell the cell phone business, accessory stuff like that. So I was thinking like, wow, it's kind of like um, flooding the whole market. So and till at the end, the Pacific Bell, or the right now it's called AT&T, they were ending up doing it by themselves. It's not too tough. It's just building location here and there. It's no, um, it's not tough to get in this business. So once it's reached a certain level, it will like gone. So that's I was like, okay, I better sell my shares to my partners, and I'll start to do auto parts, because since I like cars a lot, and like I'm very into the back then was way before the Fast and Furious actually, and I'm very into like fixing up the cars, and like back then was like we do cane gears and exhaust and like spoilers and like cosmetic and performance stuff back then. Yeah.
Hmm. And then, what were your first products that you sold for auto parts?
Uh, muffler.
Mufflers.
Yeah, yeah, exhaust system and mufflers. Yeah, and then some start. It's like the the basic performance stuff. Yeah,
Hmm.
and also the spoilers and stuff like that, and suspension and stuff like that. Yeah.
How did you get the parts? Did you have some suppliers or connections or?
Yeah, like back then was like I have friends actually work in Taiwan, and he knows some manufacturer actually doing a lot of mufflers supplied to one of the um, back then was a huge Japanese brand called Apex. So I was like, okay, yeah, why don't I just try to get some and then see if people, because I'm buying it in here in the United States from a retail shop. I was like, wow, the price is really expensive, you know. Like, what if I can get something similar or a little bit better with some improvement and with a more affordable price? Might be, yeah, can do like can earn some differences
Yeah.
in between.
And
Yeah.
how did you get your first customers? Did you do online marketing or?
Oh yeah, online. Like we start with back then it's eBay, and then we still start to build up because I start from a garage like with like $2,000 back then, and I was like, this is nothing to lose. Like the worst case scenario is 2 grand, and the times, and that's it. Back then I was young, and I was like, yeah, if I fail, I can do it again. You know, it's yeah, that's how I started.
Mhm. And then, how far have you? Are you? You're still doing the auto parts business right now, right?
Yeah, like right now it's more of like some essential parts. Like instead of fixing up their car, we went into after the 2008 the the house bubbles. Like our company actually switched to do more essential stuff like braking system and stuff like instead of like performance cosmetic fix up stuff. Yeah.
I see. Interesting. And then, what was the size of your company, or how far were you able to grow this company of auto parts to?
Um, we are not like a big company. We're like roughly around 30 people in the United States, and um, we have contracted manufacturer in China, in Taiwan, and in Japan. So it's a small size of companies. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would say.
Yeah, I mean, 30 people is not bad. Like, are they mostly what are they working on? Are they sales mostly, or marketing, or customer service?
Um, like it, like right now we have a lot of software actually able to help. So the dependence on sales is not as big as like 5, 10 years ago. So mostly right now is people who work in warehouse to get ready for the orders and um, regular daily operation. Yeah.
Mhm. Wow, fascinating. What did that experience doing an auto parts business, how did that help you, or I guess not help you, when you were
Yeah.
looking into Tesla and evaluating Tesla, their cars and their future?
I see the demand is dropping like from ICE since I would say 3 to 4 years ago. So like as you see, like I started putting more and more money into Tesla. It's more of like a hedge for my own business. Yeah. So back then was like it's like anything you make back in I would say 10 years ago or maybe right more than 10 years ago. It's actually before the 2008. Like basically anything you develop, it will sell like fast. Like like you it's quite surprising. Like we sold everything before the container is here. So and then I will have to use the uh, um, air flight to bring in muffler. That's just a stupid idea because it's so heavy and so big. But the customer was mad. Like, dude, give me the merchandise. So it was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna send express from Taiwan or China, yeah, just to fulfill the demand. But the demand is dropped like since 2008 is quite a lot. So the essential part is still there, but I see the the demand for the ICE parts is getting less and less, especially the last 3 years or 4 years.
That's
Yeah,
interesting. So let me get this timeline straight. So,
sure.
just curious, when did you go to college?
1997.
Okay, and then
Yeah,
when did you graduate?
2001.
2001. Okay, if you don't mind,
Yeah,
where did you go to college? You don't have to
I went to
answer.
yeah, I
You
went
can
to
share.
PCC and then
Okay.
Pacific City College and then a graduate from USC. Yeah,
Okay.
2001. Yeah,
What was your major at USC?
business.
Business. Okay, got it. And
Yeah,
then it was in college that you started your cell phone business, was it?
yeah.
Okay, got it. And then when did you sell your cell phone business? Was it
I would
2000?
say like 2003,
Okay, got it.
2000. Yeah, 2003 and 2002 or three. I forgot. Like
Okay.
around that time.
And then
Yeah,
you transitioned into this auto parts business,
yeah.
and then you're still doing the auto parts business till now.
Auto parts. Yeah, auto parts and motorcycle stuff,
Motorcycle.
ATV, off-roading stuff. Yeah.
Huh. Has demand picked up for like ATV parts and things like that?
It is quite stable, like because the stuff we're doing is more of like wearable stuff, like I said, like braking system, like brake pad. People need it to operate, so it's quite stable business. But I see the new vehicle sales is dropping, so it might increase more of the 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 parts they need to maintain the old um, vehicles. But and I see like even though in ATV worlds like Polaris, they start to make like electric ATVs, like even in motorcycle world like Harley Davidson, they start to make electric bikes and here and there. So it's quite encouraging though to see that.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Like you talk about the whole cell phone business,
Hmm.
back in the early 2000s, and I think for a lot of people who weren't around and didn't see it back then, it's hard to imagine. But back then, there were a lot of people making a lot of money with
Oh yeah, yeah,
selling cell phone subscriptions, and
yeah.
like I had some friends doing this, and they were doing super well. And you think that this goes on, that you think this is a great
Yeah.
business, but I guess for you, you had some understanding that the inevitable changes ahead,
Yeah.
like the big carriers would eventually open up their own stores, and take ownership of that whole kind of experience. Um, like, what do you think kind of sets you up to understand that? I mean, it's disruption, in a sense. Like you're in a business, and
Yeah.
there's a timeline, there's a life, cycle of that business. A lot of people, when they're in that type of opportunity, they don't see the end. They think that it's always going to be
It
like this. You know what I'm saying?
lasts forever, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what about kind of your background, your thinking, your education, your experience, or something? Like,
Yeah.
what helped you kind of understand that, hey, I need to switch out of this?
First thing is cost to develop the business. It's actually like it's it doesn't cost you a lot. You all you have to do just get a contract from back then was AirTouch, um, Pacific Bells, and get a store, like a 2 year leasing, and with some like small amount of the capital to purchase cell phone. Like back then was like 300 per cell phone, and all you have to do just buy like 15 to 20 cell phones and buy some accessory, and boom, you have your store. That's it. And when I first started the business, like in the city I live, it's only like 2 cell phone store. And at the time I sold my business, that's like 5 in one block.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like I was like, wow, it's flooding like crazy. So
Yeah.
it's a good time to maybe cash out or something like that. Yeah.
How many stores were you running or doing?
Uh, till I would say like 5
5 stores. Okay.
around. Yeah, 5. Yeah, and you see the price war and like people are just cutting price here and there. Back then, it's like you have to pay maybe $200 to buy the cell phone, and then with a 1 year or 2 year contract, at the end, it's like you get your phone for free, and the store will give you like tons of accessories, like case, everything, like flashing antennas and charger, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. And those things have cost too, you know. So basically, you taking out your profit to get those accessories. So at the beginning, per line, it was able to generate $200 profit back then, and till the end, it's like less than $40.
Got
So
it.
I was like, it's not a good sustainable business. Like especially if you want to expand your business, it could be a stupid idea though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like where do you see your auto parts business going in the future? I mean, you obviously are very aware of, the ICE demand decreasing
Yeah.
and EV increasing, but with EVs, I mean, there aren't probably a ton of parts, that are required. I mean, maybe there are, I guess, different mods or different accessories people want. What's your perspective kind of on your auto business going forward, maybe 5 or 10 years down the road?
It could be. I don't think my business will last more than 10 years, to be honest with you. Yeah. Because as you see, the EVs require maintenance. Like basically, you don't need maintenance. Like you don't have to change brake pads for maybe the rest of your life, you know. And I I I have my Model 3 since 2018. The only 2 things I purchased is the rear left and right tires, and that's it. I didn't even buy anything. Like, yeah, I might need some air filters for the AC, and yeah, and basically that's it, you know. Yeah. So I don't see I see that is a big disruption for the future, especially companies like AutoZone and Pep Boys and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
The tire shop will be okay though.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
interesting.
that's how I see it.
Yeah. Um, I'm curious, I mean, it seems like you're doing this, effort into starting a new business or new venture with Tesmanian. What's your kind of perspective? I know you guys put out a lot of articles, you guys are breaking a lot of news.
Yeah.
What was kind of your motivation, background, reasoning to get into, let's say, publishing? And where do you see this going? Let's say in 5 or 10 years, what is Tesmanian doing? What is it all about?
Um, the main purpose I thought started the Tasmania is like um, like we just discussed like earlier about the mainstream media, and uh, when I started in 2019, I believe like our first article will be September or October 2019. The sentiment of the mainstream media is quite like bearish about like Tesla. Like even though they make profit, they say, okay, this is last quarter, they will make profit. Like if the sales went up, they would say like, okay, yeah, they don't burn oil, they burn cash and stuff like that. So I was like, geez, like I have to do something. Maybe even though a little bit effort, able to change the sentiment to move the needle. Maybe yeah, I don't know. I have like which I believe maybe it will be able to help more people to see it, the truth, what is the real development, the true value in the coming years. So I just recruit like people on Twitters, like say, okay, this person she's good at Tesla, she knows a lot about it, and then I recruit some editors, some writers about SpaceX, and just put them all together. So hopefully it will help to giving out more valuable information. The main purpose, like from the beginning, I'm not going for making profit from the media side, because it's a until right now it's a money burning business though. But I was thinking, like, since we all have like making good money from the stock, why don't I just help to contribute a little bit to the investor community? Yeah, that's how I see it.
Interesting. Is it breaking even at least for you? I mean, are you able to cover all your writers and, expenses?
For the media side, it's not even break even yet. But for me, it's not like a big money for like a monthly. So I'm okay with that. But on the parts or accessory side, yeah, it's generating good money. So when you put it all together, it's still a healthy way to keep on going. Yeah.
Got it. So in a way, the parts that you sell for Tesla vehicles is covering the expenses for your media side. Okay, got it.
That's how I.
Do you see that do you see that type of thing going on in the future, or do you think your media side will eventually cover expenses as well?
Yeah, I have like a 5-year plan. So if everything goes the way my calculation, it probably will break even in a year or less than 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, and that's
something like that.
Mostly just on ad income.
Yeah, ad income.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, when you guys started like recruiting different writers and stuff, are you paying them per article?
Yeah, per article.
Per article.
I'm paying them per articles, and I will help to do research and because I get people send me DM every day, so I have to filter some news like as accurate as possible, because I don't want to be like over optimistic. Like when you're putting out something, I know, like if you're putting out something really exciting, you generate a lot of clicks, but my main purpose is not to get clicks, is to bring the most accurate information, as accurate as possible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. So I'm wondering, I mean, it's a fascinating, it's an interesting approach, because usually when you're starting, let's say, a media or publishing effort, it's until you can break even, until your revenue, whether it's ad revenue or something, until it grows enough to cover your expenses, it's kind of some time of pain and investment. But for you had your auto parts business where you had the connections, you had the whole infrastructure, and so you could use that to try to lessen the pain, right? To subsidize the media efforts, and eventually, hopefully, your media efforts will be, profitable, and your parts side on that
hopefully,
side, right? Yeah. What do you say to, let's say, someone who might think like Tesmanian is kind of maybe so pro Tesla or pro Elon, like that it doesn't criticize Tesla at all? Like, if there is some type of negative news or things maybe you don't like about Tesla, what are your thought process on, should you publish it or not publish it, or wait to see what will happen first? And are you aware of kind of your influence also in guiding sentiment and impacting sentiment?
We try to filter all the information first. So that's why like we do report, like when there's a recall of the vehicles, like the Model X, they have a recall on the boats, and we publish it, And for some information, like just say like the Fremont factory was was like, it's not closed but temporary because of some parts shortage. We have to I tried my best to find out as many information as possible. I know breaking news is quite important, but it's the accuracy of the information has more value than just throwing something out right away to me. So we spend time to deep dive into like what's going on, and might be this or that, and I me personally will evaluate like how big of the impact is this gonna cost. Like if it's just a very minor, or like if you put it in the long run, it doesn't really actually, like 2 days or 3 days stock production, if you look at like out of like 1 year or 5 year period, it's like nothing. Like why you have to like cause more fears if that is just 2 days, or it's just slowing down for like a week or something like that. Yeah.
Interesting. Have you been surprised at all with how much Elon has engaged with your tweets or Tesmanian's articles over the years? Do you think do you think Elon has like a separate Twitter account or something where he follows like different Twitter people, or what's going on here?
Yeah, I think it's possible, but I have no proof. But I think it's possible he has some like shadow accounts or something like that to follow like group of people. Maybe you can put it in a list with. You can actually on Twitter you can generate a list of the people you want to follow, and whatever they post, it will throw into the list. Yeah, the watching list, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's quite. I'm very appreciative and also thankful for Elon to the engagement with our Tesmanian account and stuff like that. It's fascinating.
What have you learned about Elon Musk over the years in terms of, because I mean, there's something I'm sure like you've seen, like there's certain things he reacts to, right? Or certain things he doesn't react to. There to certain times he might react more to something or less to something. There's certain things he might care about more than others. Like just over the years, like what have you learned about Elon Musk that maybe other people might not know? Meaning like you have a unique set of experiences, doing what you're doing. Are there any insights or things that maybe you've learned that you could share with me at least?
Sure. Very unpredictable. Like like tweaks and stuff like that, and like and also like very knowledgeable about what he's doing. Like even especially in products and technology, like it's not like an ordinary CEO or co-founder or founder or stuff like that, but he actually knows like deep detail on every single things, and he has like high expectation for his employees. So that's why like the company able to move like so fast. And this is what I think this is I think the most important part.
Yeah.
How do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, it's interesting to me that, I mean, Elon Musk is, definitely, one of the more fascinating, people. It's interesting how he uses Twitter, to engage, but it seems like he holds himself back sometimes a lot too. It seems like if he didn't have to worry about, so many things, he would maybe tweet a lot more or engage a lot more. But it seems like he has to be a little bit careful. Do you notice that at all?
Especially after the 420s, you mean? Yeah, you can tell like his tweet habits changed a lot after that. He hold back a lot of, like previously he would answer all kind of questions like oh, how's the development? He's like, yeah, we're gonna do this and that, hopefully this and that. And right now actually it's pretty good. I like it though, because it will give like the market more upside surprise.
That's
Because
true.
if you're throwing out ideas, and he's very aggressive with his hope or goal or something like that. So basically, if you're able to achieve like 80% of what he's asked, actually it's pretty good already, right?
Yeah.
But like right now he's holding back, and then like he didn't say much about the aggressive expectations. So the whole market will be like, oh, okay, we, like the goal, the estimate will lower. Actually, it's good for all the investor.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. Um, did you see the news about Jack Dorsey selling the first tweet as an NFT?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't see that.
yeah. So I mean, it's just like the past day or two where he's selling the first tweet he's ever done, Jack Dorsey, um,
Wow.
and it's getting millions of dollars, like 2.5 million already. But my wife this morning was saying, because you mentioned the 420 tweet by Elon Musk, she's saying
Yeah.
Elon Musk should auction that 420 tweet. And I was like, oh man, yeah,
Good
that
idea.
I would put a bid on that one.
Yeah, me too.
That is one tweet for the history books for sure. Uh, I'm curious. In 2018 and 19, I mean, Tesla hit some pretty rough patches there. With
Yeah.
420, with different tweets in different situations, with
Production hell.
production hell, like
Yeah,
lots of things, and
a lot of things.
stock price. Were you
Yeah.
were you tested at all during that time? Like, how did you get through it? How did you like remain optimistic? Were some of the criticism valid with Tesla, and how did you process that? Like, what were your thoughts like kind of during that time?
Um, like actually from I would say like the last before 2000 end of 2019, the from 16 or 15 to 19, basically the stock price didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
It just keep consolidate within 350 and 200 ish. So, but we able to see the company is growing. The sales is keep climbing, and then Giga Shanghai, um, like all the development, all the fundamentals keep improving. The sales keep going up, and the Teslas just keep putting money back into the 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 investment for the future. So I was like, wow, that's a big disconnection in between those period of time, and mainly people are just too lazy to do their own research. They just turn on the apps and look at the Tesla news and, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, they the more they sell, the more they lose the money and stuff like that. And I that's why I don't really depends on the daily news from the mainstream media, especially for Tesla, because I learned my lesson from Apple back in the days. Like I don't know if you remember, like when the first iPhone came out, there's a lot of articles talks about who's gonna buy a cell phone with the keypad.
Mm-hmm.
What if the touchscreen doesn't work? Come on, like find me a cell phone with keypads right now. You can't find it right now. So people just don't see what's gonna happen in 5 years or 10 years down the road. And that's actually a great opportunities. So I'll just take advantage of it.
Yeah, yeah. So you're able to see more of a long-term perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah, 5 or 10 years, Tesla is going to be huge, and this is just maybe passing times, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2019, 18. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
So
yeah, Apple, can you share a bit about your experience? I know you've mentioned, in the past, Apple, you invested in Apple stock. Do you still hold Apple right now, actually?
no,
Not
I
really.
I I,
Okay.
I sold most. Actually, my last batch in 2020s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, 2020s, and yeah. So I basically just closed everything.
Yeah.
Had to pay tax.
Yeah. What was
Painful.
yeah, yeah. Um, what was wait, are you in California?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, yeah.
in
So
California,
it's
Southern
so
California.
even more
Yeah,
painful.
yeah, very painful. I should consider move to Texas.
um, yeah. So Apple stock, like, was that kind of your first big stock purchase, or were you doing stock purchasing
Yeah,
before
no,
that, or?
like I no before that, like I learned a lot of hard lessons, like back in the days, like um, yeah, so many stupid like tradings and stuff like that until like Apple's and Amazon. And yeah, I would just learn how to focus on long-term perspectives. Yeah.
And then when did you invest in like Apple or Amazon?
Apple, I would say around 2008.
Uh,
Yeah, 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 around, yeah, just right before the market crash,
oh yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah,
So I've been through the whole crash
yeah,
in
yeah.
2008. Yeah.
What was your experience like with Apple? Like, what percent of your net assets did you put into Apple? What did you do it all at once or over time? Like, what was that
Over
over
time, I
time?
like to deploy capital like a little by little,
Mhm.
and as the fundamental keep improving, so the uncertainty will drop. So you are more comfortable to put more money into it, and then till like uh, to to uh, to reach the your goal, my goal of like holding how many shares of Apple, and I'll just let it ride by itself.
Got
Yeah,
it. When did you reach your goal, and when did you just let it ride by itself?
I would say like in 2011,
Hmm.
2012, yeah,
Okay,
around that time.
I see. And then what percent of Apple was of your
Back in the days,
net assets? Yeah, of all your net
uh,
assets, what percent did you put into Apple?
I would say like around back then it's around 70%.
70%. Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
did you put a lot of your business kind of savings or extra income from your business into stock like
Yes,
Apple,
yeah, into
basically?
stock. And also like I got questions from tweeters like followers like,
Yeah.
oh, how you gonna earn capitals to keep putting
Hmm.
money into it? Like
Yeah.
usually I will sell some out of money puts, like extremely out of money puts. I know it's like just a little bit, but when you keep doing it like monthly, actually it can help you generate a good amount in a year or two, you know. And when the time is here, you can deploy the extra capital into equities and stuff like that.
How long have you been doing that for?
Last 10 years.
Really? Do you do like every
Yeah.
month?
Oh no, no, like most of the months, not every month, but
Okay.
most of the months.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Interesting.
Especially when the IV is really high,
Yeah.
like Tesla is a good
Hmm.
example. Yeah.
Hmm.
But right now the IV drops a lot already.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Um, so with Apple, and then did you put what percent of your net assets did you put into Amazon? Was that
I would
probably
say
less, right?
like last year,
Yeah,
like around 15,
15.
15%, yeah, into Amazon back in like almost the same time I bought Tesla in 2013.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I see the fulfillment center is keep building a lot, and then I was like, okay, yeah, that's quite disruptive, you know, like that's the opportunity back then. I remember like the first I bought is around 250 more or less
yeah,
back in the days.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Um, so I'm curious. With Apple and Amazon, I mean, I'm curious what because Apple was one of my kind of first big kind of opportunities with
Yeah.
investing. Back then, I didn't have much capital, so I had to do more.
Yeah, me too.
I had to do
Yeah.
more business. So I started an app company, focused
Yeah.
on apps. Um, like, why do you think, for example, certain people like yourself and others, it's not just a few, but there are a good amount of people who see that when Apple releases an iPhone and the App Store, that this is going to be huge. This is going to change
Yeah.
everything. But others, like you just mentioned in the media and other places, they're like, who's going to buy this? This is like, doesn't have a keypad, you know? How do you make phone calls or whatever, right? How do you type your emails with, without a keypad? Why is it that you think some people are able to catch the future and they think it's almost inevitable, the changes? Well, and it's also with Tesla, some people think Tesla is inevitable, right? To grow to the most dominant automaker, where others still think that it's going to go bankrupt, right?
Yes, I know.
So what's the difference here? Like why is it, in your opinion, that there could be such stark differences in opinion about the same thing?
I read an article from long time ago. They talk about 85% of the people in the market needed to be wrong. So if you spend more time to doing research and to understand the company or the field of the business, you can be the 15 or 10% people that are able to see the future in the long run. Because most of the people, they are just too busy on their daily life. Like they have families, they have friends, they have to deal with like many other stuff. So like only a very small group of people, they will be focusing on one or two stocks to deep dive into research and to understand and to learn and to think of what is going to happen, the ecosystem of the company. So I don't see like many people are willing to spend this much of time to understand a company like like back in the days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. For Tesla, how important was the Model 3 to give you conviction in terms of Tesla becoming, let's say, a dominant, let's say, automaker?
Yeah, it's a quite huge conviction for me, because it shows me like they finally get into the mass market, like the real. It'll finally get to the point of economic of scale. Mm-hmm. Once you build, like, because I'm doing my own business, is based on economic of scale. To like when you do more like just the coffee cups, like you're making 500, it might cost you like $1 each. But when you're making 50,000, it might cost you like 20 cents. And that's, you're able to drop the price of the sales price and lower the cost of the manufacturing. And that is a big jump to show Tesla is able to become a real like mass, like a real key player in the field. Yeah.
When did you first drive a Model 3?
2018, when I December 2018. Okay. December.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then was that when you took delivery of your Model 3?
Yeah, when I took delivery of my Model 3, but my first Tesla experience is in 2013.
Got it. And then how much did that change your conviction regarding Tesla, owning your own Model 3, seeing it day to day, driving it around?
I would say I triple my size of the shares. Mm-hmm. Because like you don't truly understand the product until you use it every day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just like an iPhone. Like you use it every day and then oh shit, this is, the ecosystem is crazy. You're able to do banking, you're able to watch video, you can do like blah blah blah, so many stuff, etc. And for Tesla, it's like it just feels different. Like I used to own like many different cars, and I have a bad habit. It's like only like 2 or 3 cars I'm able to keep more than a year. Usually I buy a car, and after the first 6 months, like, the new car smell's gone, I'll sell it and buy another new car, And for the Model 3, that's the only car that's not the only 2 cars I'm able to keep over like 3 years or 2 years, 3 years. Yeah.
What's the other car?
It's a GT3. Okay. It's in the garage. It's a collectible. So yeah. I'm not gonna sell it. Yeah. Yeah. And like the software update actually keep refreshing, like bring you excitement. It's like, oh, it's just like back in the day, the iPhone, the software updates, every time it's like, oh, we get something new feature.
Especially the big yearly ones early on.
I know.
Yeah, a lot of big updates. So do you have any other Tesla cars besides the Model 3?
And a Model Y.
You have a Model Y?
For my wife. Yeah.
Okay.
For my wife. Yeah.
So what's your experience with the Model Y? How is it?
It's so much better than my Model 3 because,
really?
like the Model 3 is my first Tesla. So I wouldn't want to spend that much of the money into a new, that's my first EV too. So back then I just bought a mid-range because I was like, okay, if it's good, I'm going to order a long range of performance in the future. So I bought a mid-range. And when I ordering the Model Y for my wife, I just go performance. I was like, that's the way to go, And right now I'm comparing her car with my mid-range. I was like, dude, I wish I get the performance. So regret.
Interesting. How is the build quality, the driving experience, performance of the Model Y compared to, because the Model Y, what year build is it? I mean, is it this past year or 2020?
Last year.
2020.
Last year. 2020 I took delivery during the pandemic, April. Yeah, okay. April. The build quality is way better than my Model 3, to be honest. Yeah. It still have like a minor stuff, but compared to my Model 3, it's way, way, way better. Yeah. And one of my guy in the office, he actually bought the 2021 Model 3 and was when I sit in the car, I said, oh, Jesus, so the improvement is crazy, compared to the 2018. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you tempted to upgrade your Model 3 at all to something else?
I ordered the Model S, the new one. So hopefully I can get delivered, I don't know, maybe this month or next month.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. So you have it on order.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I don't know, because I have the FSD Beta in the Model 3.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it might be a headache to switch to the Model S,
Yeah, I guess you keep the Model 3 until...
So I'm stuck with the Model 3 right now.
Yeah. Or I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who want to borrow that Model 3, or even if that FSD Beta keeps with the car. Yeah. Why Model S refresh?
I like I've been waiting for the interior refresh because I'm okay, and I like the exterior design, the cosmetic stuff. It looks really cool, but once they refresh the monitor and also the AC, because back then I was thinking like, if I'm gonna spend like $80,000 to $100,000 for a new Tesla, I wouldn't want to adjust the AC vents manually. I want to do it digital. So I'll just wait for the refresh. Once they announce the refresh, I was like, okay, I'll just order it.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I'm wondering, what else? Do you have a Cybertruck on order as well?
Yeah, I have two.
Are you gonna take delivery and actually drive that around, or kind of have it as extra car? Sure. Is it going to be a daily driver, or what were you thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe once the Cybertruck is ready, and I'll keep my Model 3 for the future Robotaxi and stuff like that, and then I think my daily driving will be the Cybertruck, for sure. Yeah. I'm not a pickup truck person though.
Yeah.
Like just so cool. Yeah. Did you order the Cybertruck?
Yeah. I've got a couple on order. Right. Definitely. Cybertruck is so fascinating. I remember I met you at the Cybertruck reveal at the end of, when was that? November 2019, right?
Yeah, November.
Yeah. In person, I mean, my experience was like seeing the Cybertruck in person is just so crazy. It just, it doesn't.
What is your first impression? What is your first
it's just like it's scary. It's like the most scary, especially The event was at night too. I mean,
Yeah.
on stage it was kind of strange. Everyone was,
Yeah.
including myself, was like, "What is this?" But
I know.
later on, when they were giving test rides, and the Cybertruck would come up, to pick up
Yeah.
people, it just was out of this world. It's like it doesn't look like anything normal. It just feels like
Yeah.
some alien, a crazy vehicle is coming to capture people or something. Yeah, I mean, what were your kind of impressions, at the event?
When they first rolling out from the stage, I was thinking like, this must be a joke.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's like a setup. It's like, oh, not this one. It's this one. But like, I feel very, I don't know, complicated when I first saw the Cybertruck. It looks kind of like one of the render we saw on Twitter. One of it, I was like, no way. It's like that. But once you walk onto the stage, it changed my mind, But the most the most exciting moment is when they announcing the price, It's like 30 something, 30, 35, $38,000 for the starting price, and around 55 for the dual motor. I was like, holy crap, like how Ford is gonna do with this, because I know the average selling price is at around 50-ish range for the F series. So basically the dual motor is gonna sell a lot. Yeah, especially if people put into the cost of ownership,
Yeah,
you would think of like, wow, this is a bargain,
yeah.
Like, and if they able to make profit out of it, it's like crazy.
Were you able to get a test ride at the event?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went, but the line was
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy. What was your test ride impressions?
it the interior is actually bigger than I thought, and I remember the vehicle was a dual motor, right? The one we test drove. Yeah, test ride. And yeah, the acceleration, everything is quite fascinating. And I like the design, everything. Like when you get to see in person closely, it feels like so different
Yeah,
than we see on the stage,
yeah, yeah. I thought like when I rode in it, it was what caught me was the handling. It really felt
Okay.
like a more nimble car, like a Model X, kind of just
Yeah.
moving around. I was like, whoa, this is like, for the size of the vehicle, it just, the handling seemed just really out of this world. I think people might be surprised, at a lot of things with the
Yeah,
Cybertruck.
I would love to test drive it,
Yeah, yeah,
like if I have a chance,
yeah.
because I was wondering like how it feels when you drive it.
Hmm.
It by sitting in it, it must be like a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the rear view mirror is like, it's crazy. Actually, it's a monitor from the
Hmm.
camera. I was like, wow, this is
Yeah.
like surprising.
Yeah. Um, when do you think, when do you think Cybertruck is gonna like be produced? Do you think they're gonna have some challenges getting it out, by the end of the year in any quantity? I mean, do you think it's gonna be pushed more into next year? And what are your thoughts on, can they ramp up faster, or will it be a slower ramp?
By the construction speed of Giga Texas, I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to roll out by the end of this year. And but the Cybertruck has like a totally different manufacturing process than the Model Y and 3. There must be some challenge for sure. So because I like to be more conservative than than regular people. So I would say end of the year or beginning of next year. I'm okay with that, Even though like the end of first quarter of next year, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If it's rolling out like earlier than that, that for me is a bonus.
Yeah. Do you think Tesla will have enough 4680 cells to really, ramp up, or start production in significant quantities this year? I mean, because I don't know, it seems like the Model Y in Berlin will need 4680 cells,
Yeah.
also Austin, with Model Y and Cybertruck, but then they have to make these cells.
Yeah.
So did Elon, you think, kind of sandbag at all the 4680 development process? Did he kind of downplay it at all? Or, I mean, because in order for them to really ramp significant amounts in Berlin and Austin, they need a lot of 4680
I
cells.
know.
Like, it's like, where are they going to get all this stuff?
But think of the size of the 4680. You actually don't need that many, like the 2170s, you know. So it might take longer to make each one, but when you think of like, okay, the quantity of the 4680 actually needed less than the 2170. So it might have a good chance for them to actually sandbagging the whole process. But just my point of view, you know. Yeah, but like the battery day, what they told us, the information Elon gave us is actually pointing to we has a high possibility to see the Cybertruck by the end of this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Like you're talking, bigger volume, right? Density, a bigger volume per cell means if they can make, the cell as fast as a 2170, then they just made like multiple times because it's so much bigger. But then if they can improve even the speed of which they make each cell, then they could be making, the 10 or 20 times as much in terms of, battery capacity, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. And based on the videos we've seen of, just the ramp, like sending out those, cells like super fast. It's like,
I know.
Wow.
It's like a machine gun.
Yeah. Were you at Battery Day? Did you?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Were you able to take that special after event tour of the pilot line at all?
I almost got it. I didn't.
Almost stuck in, but
almost got it.
Shut the door.
I know, not for you. How did you go to? Did you went in to see the manufacturing in the Cato Rows?
No. I haven't been able to see the 4680 line at all.
I think Gali just went into
Yeah. Definitely. It's definitely fascinating stuff for Tesla this year. So I want to ask about full self-driving. So I know you've had the full self-driving beta for quite a while, since I think December or so, right?
I got it in the second update. Okay. So it's almost the first batch. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's been a while since you've had it. How many miles have you put on your car with full self-driving beta?
Wow, I would say more than 10,000 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, more than 10,000 for sure. Because my daily commute to work is like around 90 miles a day.
Oh wow.
So it's far. It's from Irvine to Pomona. So it's like a 40 something miles. And then round trip will be close to 90s. Yeah.
Wow. Do you use full self-driving beta for the whole trip?
Oh, yes. I use it every day. Yeah.
From your house
from my house to
your work.
office. Yeah. Warehouse.
And do you have, I mean, what's your experience like? Do you get interventions or, and issues?
At the beginning, I have to do a lot of like takeover and stuff like that. And because the system was not, even though right now it's not perfect yet, it's still, of course, like it's a beta version, and the improvement of the FSD beta is quite fascinating. It's way faster than what I personally expected. I wasn't that bullish about FSD before, because you can see from my tweaks from before I got the FSD beta. I mainly talk about the battery, the energy side, the vehicle cells, the manufacturing, the giga factories and stuff like that. I hardly talk about FSD, but once I have an opportunity to try the FSD beta. I was like, wow, this thing is real. It's quite It's real. It's not like when I post some like testing video, a lot of people just think like, even though right now some people think that's a fake video and stuff like that. But yeah, the improvement is quite encouraging, I would say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So on a typical drive from Irvine, your house, to Pomona, your work, as you use full self-driving, do you expect to get any interventions, or does it usually just go straight to your work without any intervention?
With the last 3 to 4 updates, just go straight from home to work already. Yeah, from homes to work already. But I like during weekend, like today, I will go to like some like niche area. So I want to try the system or get the system to learn something new. Like sometimes I will go to the downtown LA, like the road is like one way and a lot of people riding bikes here and there's, and with some illegal jaywalk and stuff like that,
Yeah.
very unexpected. So the system actually able to learn to see more like different situation. Yeah.
If Tesla released like this current version that you have right now, is it what, 8.2 or something?
8.2.
8.2.
Right, yeah.
Hypothetically, if they released it wide release, do you think there would be a lot of problems? Do you think they need to refine it more before wide release to avoid a lot of problems, or do you think people can handle the current?
I would recommend to release the feature that is more mature, because they have so many different features in there. So some feature like I give you example like U-turn. It's still unable for my testing. It's still unable to do the U-turn, but they can make like 1, 2, 3, 4 left turn to solve the problem. But in the map, it still show like a U-turn. So stuff like that, and also like if you because Emmett asked me to talk about pros and cons. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll talk about it, and also the emergency flashing light, because most of the vehicle is amber color flashing light, but some vehicle is red flashing light. So I had the experience of I seeing a emergency stop vehicle in front of me flashing the red lights. The FSD actually stopped behind the car. But when they flashing the amber light, it's very smart to just go over it and slowly creeping to the left and then just go through it. And yeah.
Wow, interesting. When you use full self-driving beta from your house to your work, like how big of a difference is it making in your drive? Are you able to relax more, or is it still pretty much you have to, be as intensely supervising as autopilot? Before?
Right now, it is very relaxed right now. Like, yeah, actually the system is, this update, I feels like it's up another level right now, because one thing I dislike from previous version is not aggressive enough. But this one actually is getting more aggressive. Like especially like when you in a heavy traffic, you want to change lane. If you're not aggressive enough, you're not going to make it for sure. Especially in LA and New York for sure. And this version actually became like very aggressive. So I was like, okay, yeah, it's more like a 20 years old drivers. Previously, it's like a 15 or 14 years old. It's learning how to drive, and right now it's getting more and more mature. And like, yeah, it's quite relaxed right now for me.
Wow, interesting. What's your kind of just wild or guesstimates on timeline in terms of when do you think, actually, more specifically, like Elon just tweeted about this whole download now button, right?
In 10 days, right?
Yeah. So what's up with that? Are people actually going to get, do you think that's just limited to, like, obviously not everyone who presses a button is going to get it. Maybe it's you press the button, you get on a wait list, do you think? What are your thoughts about that?
I would say like that's a submit buttons for people who interested in getting the FSD beta.
Got it.
And I believe the team will evaluate your driving record. Like if you do a lot of like speeding and crazy stuff, they might not give it to you, you know.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you don't want like those YouTuber do those crazy video like, oh, okay, I'm sleeping on the back with the pillow and the car drive by itself. Those are crazy, man.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Um, so in terms of like wide release and like Robotaxi, like do you think Robotaxi is something that's going to happen in the next 1 to 2 years?
1 to 2 years. I'll give it a longer time frame though. Yeah, I would say because I like to be more conservative. So I would say hopefully in 2 to 3 years, and it will go by like state by state. It's not like all the way like 50 states, or maybe go by city too. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it will speed up because this just my point of view, because China is right now they open up more city for level like the full autonomy testing. So I believe the US will not want to fall behind China. So they will speed up the regulator process to compete with China.
Why is full self-driving take rate so low in China? I think Elon or during the last conference call or sometime was saying it's like 1% or something. I mean,
It's crazy.
What's going
low,
on here?
Yeah. I think like, okay, one thing is the mapping in the China version is not as good as the competitor. So people don't have faith about the FSD beta. I mean the FSD software. So they have more room to improve. I think firstly from the map itself, and then once they get this thing done, and then they might have to do some software upgrades with, because the people who drive in China is different than the people who drive in the US. You know, people are more, I don't know, like crazy in China. So you will need to have like a different way a different setting for the AP to work in China, I think.
China mode.
It's crazy. China mode, yes. Like even in Hong Kong, like I was from Hong Kong, like if you put AP in Hong Kong, it might works, but not as good as in the US, you know.
Yeah.
And China is in different levels.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago. I had like one of my scariest drives ever in China. There was a taxi driver. We're going like 100 miles to a different city, and he was going. It was a 1-lane road, meaning this one road shares both directions, right?
Yeah.
And he's going like 75 miles per hour on this one lane road, and there are cars that are coming. And the way he does it is he's just avoiding the cars last minute, like going around them at like 70 miles per hour. And
I know, it's crazy.
Me and my friend were just like, we're telling him to slow down. He slows down for like a few minutes.
And then he speeds up again.
Keeps on going. We tell him like 10 times. And eventually like, we're like, let us off. We have to get, we're leaving this car. And he's like, no, I'll slow down. And he eventually like hits another car, like his mirror hits another car. Actually, it explodes the mirror. And the taxi driver's like, whatever, doesn't care. It's like, he isn't even phased. It's like, doesn't matter to him,
it's much better right now. Like, back in the days, me and my business partner, we went to China to check one of the manufacturer. It's in a tier 3 cities, in tier 3 city, and that driver just like speeding up like crazy, and the taxi was like so shaky, and I can hear the boat is like shaking, and he sound like close to like 80 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So basically the whole trip, me and my partner, we just praying. It's like, please, like, don't get in accident. I'm so scared. And the seatbelt, it doesn't work at all. It's like so loose. Yeah, so many crazy stuff. But right now it's way better than before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still the driving habit is has to
I noticed you're working hard to really engage an audience toward Chinese speakers with, for example, full self-driving videos and such. Kind of what's your kind of goal or reason? Is it to educate kind of people out there because there aren't that many resources for them? Or what's your angle?
Yeah, because number one, most we see a lot of like FSD tests are doing English and Spanish and in different languages, but I don't see anybody's doing in Chinese. So I was thinking like maybe it's my duty to tell people to solve like to take away the misunderstanding about the FSD beta. So I would just jump in to do the Chinese one and post it on YouTube and also Weibo. So people are for the people in China, especially the Tesla owners, able to understand what is the development, the stage of development of the FSD beta. I think it's quite helpful for them too, and also the investor in China.
In your engagement with Chinese speaking, but also people in China interested in Teslas or owning Teslas, I mean, you're engaging with them through social media, Weibo, other things.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you learning? Like, what is the mind of, let's say, the Chinese consumer that might be different than people in the West, what their expectations are? They might think, let's say, a person in China wants something or is buying something for a certain reason, but is there something you've learned over the years where you have some insight into what Chinese customers want, like why they buy what they want to buy?
There's like two group of people in China. One is like the people that is like 40 something, 50 something, the older generation, like us, like the older one, but they're not very into like the high technology. They own Beamers, Mercedes-Benz, and once they bought the Tesla, they would think, oh, okay, the interior is not luxury enough. And the second group will be the new generation, like the 30s, like the 20 something 30s with higher education, like lawyers, doctors, and those people, they're more into the technology. They're more into, okay, yeah, when I buy Tesla, I want the autopilot. I'm going for autopilot. I'm not going for the luxury interior and stuff like that. And also the marketing in China is different than the US. So like for us in the US, we're so used to, okay, just go online, click and buy the cars, But in China, buying a car is a big thing. So they have to bring the whole family to the experience center to touch it, to try it, to feel it. Oh, that's real. That's not a picture on the website. So they make the decision to buy the car. That's why like you're able to see Tesla China is expanding the delivery center. They call it all-in-one. The deliver and the sales and service, everything all in once. Yeah, it actually helps to sell more cars in China.
Mm-hmm. Like, are you concerned at all, or what's your take on demand for Tesla cars? I mean, if you have a bigger portion of, let's say, Tesla's target market being more younger, let's say under 40 or so, more educated, appreciative of tech. I mean, is that going to limit, you think, some of the higher end vehicle, like the Model S and X, and drive people more to the lower or mid range? But then are Chinese customers, are they waiting for the $25,000 Tesla car? I mean, if you just wait a couple of years, then maybe you get the
Yeah.
$25,000 car. So, I mean, actually, I want to ask about some more competition questions, but just in terms of Tesla itself, is demand growing for Tesla, let's say Model 3 and Model Y? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, what's your take?
I think the demand for the Model 3 and Model Y, especially the Model Y, will be like huge in China because most of the people, they, especially the last 5 years, they're more into like a bigger size of family car. Model 3 is just not a four-door mid-size sedan is not popular in China anymore. Like people like the big SUV, like bigger size, like the whole family can put like five peoples. Um, so the Model Y will sell. I would say the demand will be like will blow everybody's mind for sure.
Mm.
And will it kill the demand for the Model X or Model S in China? I don't think so. Like I give you an example. Like for me, I bought the Model 3, and then I bought the Model Y, and then ending up I want to buy a Model S. So people who bought the Model 3 and Model Y right now, they might upgrade to Model S or X in the future.
Mhm.
But you're gonna keep driving new people into Model 3 and Model Y. So it's like a healthy cycle to me as
Mhm.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
And you say the $25,000 one,
Mhm.
that is gonna fulfill those people who is not willing or can't afford a $35,000 Model 3. Like I give example like a tier two city in China right now or tier three cities. Like the income is just not there yet. But a $25,000 or even with incentive might be lower, might go down to 22 or 23. That that will drive like a huge profit. I mean the huge demand in China because the most vehicle they sell in China um, is those like the lower tiers
Mhm.
vehicles. For example, the Corolla they're able to sell over a million unit in China for I think last year or 2019.
Mhm. Um, I mean, I think Elon has insinuated that they might have a separate, let's say, design center in China, right, designing the
In Europe too.
25,000,
Yeah,
and then a
yeah,
separate one in
yeah,
Europe.
yeah.
So you might have two versions, or you might have multiple different variations. But why do you think they need to be different? Like, what about China you think would make it where it should be more China focused versus why can't they just be the same?
Um, I would say since they have like a different manufacturing, the Giga Shanghai and Giga Berlin, so they don't have to be in the same design for everything because like they might designing a $25,000 for China. It's just specifically for the condition of China's the road and also the taste of the customers, like what they want. Like the what people want in China is totally different what the customer want in Europe. So instead of making one that able to meet both of them, why don't you just make two of them? So people in Europe will feel like, okay, yeah, this one is made for us. So I will want to buy this. And the one in from Giga Shanghai is like, okay, this is a more localized. They do the research. They know what the people want. This is made mainly for the Chinese customer. I think that's a pretty smart idea, though. How do you think?
Yeah, yeah, no, I think um, I'm not sure on the intricacies of exactly what would be different, but it seems like the values would be different. You know, the whole approach and
Mm.
idea between a European design versus more of a China or Asia design. Um, even aesthetics. I wonder if some of the parts will be interchangeable, though. Maybe
Oh,
quite a
for
few
sure. Yeah,
actually. Yeah,
yeah.
um, yeah. I think Europe probably wants to be more compact. Like that's
Like a
the
hatchback or
yeah or
something like that.
something. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of wonder also if the $25,000 vehicle could be actually eventually, I don't know, there could be various variations, but could be eventually like a small SUV even,
like a crossover, something
yeah,
like that.
maybe it's a tad
Yeah,
smaller than the Model Y even, but more of a, Model Y, I think will still remain kind of this luxury performance vehicle. But then there's a
yep,
whole economy class, that is out
yeah,
there, that Tesla still hasn't really even tapped into at all. Um,
yep.
yeah,
That will be like interesting though.
yeah. Um, I'm curious, in China, so there's been some speculation that, Tesla, I guess there was this one YouTube channel, I think Epoch Times, that came out with the videos claiming that Tesla is going to have some challenges in the future in China because the Chinese government is favoritizing, showing favoritism to Neo and Xpeng and local companies. And eventually they're going to make Tesla's life much harder, make it more difficult for Tesla, not give them the same favoritism. Do you think that's a legitimate risk, or do you think the Chinese government will continue to, treat Tesla well and allow them to grow in China?
I think this is a this this is there's possibility though, but from you from what you see, the relationship in between Tesla and the Shanghai government, I think they will keep supporting Tesla in the long run, but also they will keep supporting the Neo Xpeng and then Li Autos to balance both. You can't be like 100% favorite on the domestic EVs company, but you can also 100% supporting Tesla, because a lot of like Western company is looking at Tesla as an example for them to like, should we putting more money invest in China? So they have to let Tesla's success to show the world, come invest in China. On the other hand, they can't let Tesla be like up right here. They have to build their own domestic EV brand. So there will be a balance from my perspective. Yeah. How do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know a lot more about the Chinese situation than me. It sounds reasonable. It does seem like, who knows what will happen in 5 or 10 years, this is
Yeah.
constantly changing. And also there's dynamics between the US government and China too,
Yeah.
and how that relationship, plays out in the future. What's the, I mean, from your interaction with Chinese customers and consumers, how do they think about Tesla versus Neo and Xpeng and Li Auto and their cars? Are they looking at like Tesla and Neo and Xpeng and like at this in the same type of class and level? Does Neo and Xpeng offer something that's appealing? Like why are people buying their cars as well? Um, how does the Chinese consumer, the mind, evaluate, compare Tesla to Neo, Xpeng, and Li Auto?
I think like in China, the Neo and the Neo Xpeng and also the lease autos, they offering a more high level of customer service. But in the technology wise, Tesla is able to, it's not even in the same level of the comparison. So some like even though in the US, some people would just say like I'm not gonna buy Tesla.
Mm,
Like people just say I don't buy Apple at all.
mhm,
You know, we have those kind of people in China too. Like there's some people. It's like I'm not gonna buy Tesla. I'm gonna support the domestic brand. I'm buying Neos. I'm buying Lease or Xpeng or whatever. But the new generation people are more smart than just look at the media what they said. Like, oh, okay, you should support the country brand and stuff like that. They're more like, okay, because right now the internet, it's just fascinating. People can get information very easy. So the demand from the younger generation is increasing. So in the long run, I still very optimistic about the growth of Tesla China.
mhm.
Yeah.
Do you, of the three, let's say Neo, Xpeng, and Li Auto, which company do you think has the strongest chances to compete with Tesla?
For sure, it's not Xpeng. And Lee's is very, I would say it sounds okay because the CEO itself is not as vocal as the other two. So I like the CEO is being like, just work hard and show me the numbers, those kind of CEO. And Neo, I have a mixed feeling of Neo. So I was once want to invest money into Neo back in the days. And I went to Shanghai. So in the most metropolitan, like the center of Shanghai, that block is the most expensive blocks with all the well-known brands. And I saw like 3 Neo store in 2 blocks. I
Wow.
was like, you don't have to get 3 store in 2 blocks. Tesla has 1, and Neo has 3. I was like, this is not sustainable. The way they burn money is not. I just don't. I just can't put my money into a company like this. It doesn't mean they can't success.
Yeah.
Just against my theory. So, but if your question, I will say maybe Neo.
Yeah.
If I have to choose, yeah,
I see.
Neo. Yeah, because they have the biggest um, group of fans as of versus Xpeng and Lee's Autos.
I see. Do you think
Yeah.
a company like Neo, I mean, it seems like China has such a mature, developed manufacturing base and supply chain. You just have
Yes.
it's probably probably the best, supply
Yeah.
chain infrastructure in the world in terms of cost and ability to produce mass amounts quickly. And it seems like companies like Neo and others can take advantage of that supply chain, the manufacturing. They have CATL, batteries that they can take advantage of,
Batteries.
all this
Yeah.
stuff. But you think, can they compete with Tesla with technology and with, let's say,
You mean
autopilot?
software?
Yeah, with
Software side?
software. Will they have to maybe partner with Baidu or another type of, more technology focused company? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they will have to partner with either Baidu or Mobileye or a company like that. And I don't think they have very advantage. They don't have advantage of the technology versus Tesla as of right now. But the supply chain was there, like you said, CATL and like the parts and everything. They can partner with many like uh, the OEM automakers. But I see they have a bottleneck right now, just right now, to go above like maybe 6,000 vehicles per week. So I mean per month right now. So they will they will have to ramp up the production. And but by just looking at the price of the MIC Model Y from Giga Shanghai and versus the Neo the ES6, I think it's a apple to apple comparison. You don't see any price advantage from Neo at this moment, unless they're willing to slash the price to match the Model Y. Because no matter how much you like Neo or how much you hate Tesla, when you're buying cars with your real money, that's the decision you have to make. It doesn't mean like, okay, I'll support this company. Yeah, but you can't just keep buying overpriced product.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
Besides Neo, are there any like really credible competitors you see for Tesla in the EV space? Or, I mean, it seems like there's an EV kind of angle, but then there's also autonomous driving angle, right? Full self-driving angle. But are there any
Yeah.
companies or things that you're concerned about, or that you have some, you know, you think that could pose a threat to Tesla?
Uh, that's a lot of, I read a lot of articles, but I don't know how accuracy are those articles about Huawei is making the the LiDAR system in a really low prices. I don't know if you see that articles, and I will have to deep dive into like the spec of that system to make sure it's a apple to apple comparison. If the resolution is not there, then yeah, they can make very cheap one, like just not able to function or so. I believe they were able to function, but and Baidu too. Baidu is working on the autonomous for a while, and also they're gonna make EVs, and I think Baidu might have a bigger chance than Neo to be success in China, but I will have to see the vehicles first, because Neo they've been delivering vehicles for a while, but Baidu they didn't do anything so far. Yeah, I'll have to wait and see.
Interesting. Do you think any of the existing OEMs like, Ford, GM, Toyota, Honda, BMW, Mercedes, do you think any of these guys have a chance?
I don't think so, to be honest with you. How about you?
Yeah,
They have like so many stuff have to do with it, like the unions. We know, I don't know how to start, Like
yeah,
if they're able to start with a complete new division,
yeah,
that might be the chance. But if they're gonna use their own brand and the resources from the own company, wow, it's tough.
yeah,
Very tough.
yeah, tough one. Um, yeah, I mean, the other issue is like, the best engineers aren't going to go to these old companies unless, I mean, they probably should have done this 3 or 4 years or 5 years ago. They should have, spun off kind of a startup that they give equity, right? It's a separate entity to the employees, so you can attract talent and put in a bunch of money to try to make something great. But even that, like, what are the chances, of that doing well? It's like so slim. Like what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
on Lucid? We had a Twitter follower asking, like, does Lucid have a chance against Tesla? They seem to have some decent engineering. What are your ideas?
Oh, I don't see their pre-order number yet. Did you see it?
No.
No, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the cars, to be honest with you. The interior is fascinating, but like with that price, like what is the demand? Like how many people are willing to pay? I don't know, like 150, 140 for Lucid, or you want to wait another few years for the 80 something thousand dollar version? And it just like when I saw the Mission E from Porsche, I loved the car. I was like, dude, this is because I used to be a big Porsche fan, So I was like, okay, if they're gonna make the $80,000, I'll buy one, to support. But it ended up like it's like 150, $180,000 for the Taycan Turbo or the Taycan Turbo S, and if you want to go for the $80,000 version, you have to wait. I don't know how many, like 3 years, 4 years from last year. So it's not like something you can buy right now. So I don't see it's a threat to Tesla, because think of like for 3 years from now, what Tesla will be,
Yeah.
maybe they're able to sell a Model S with, I don't know, like 600 or 800 miles range. I don't know, with the technology flies every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll wait and see.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah, it's a tough one because when Tesla was getting started and ramping the Model 3, there wasn't this competitor, let's say in the EV
yeah,
space, that was sucking all the demand out. Like Tesla could have all the demand, and even with that, they barely made it. And now you
yes,
have these other companies trying to get started, but now you have Tesla sucking up all the demand, right? For not just
yeah,
the whole EV space, but in some places, entire markets. And
yeah,
now you're trying to get started as a company. Where does your demand come from? Who's going to buy your car over,
exactly.
this?
Like
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's like they had a chance when Tesla wasn't in full production. They had a chance
yes,
back then, but now it's
Be,
a different game.
before 2018, I would say
Exactly.
yeah, before 2018, but they missed the golden opportunity
Yeah.
already,
Yeah.
and I don't know, like, have you ever tried the charging infrastructure, like beside the Tesla?
Some, but I've given up after a few times. Like, how do you use this?
I tried one. Oh my gosh! Like,
Yeah.
if I'm buying a different EVs, that is my biggest concern about what if I'm going to the road trip. So
Yeah.
how convenient is their charging infrastructure? Like, we got spoiled by Tesla. Like, you just went there and just plug in, and you can go back to your car, or like go buy a coffee or something like that.
Yeah.
But for those, you have to punch in the number, and then I tried once and I gave up. I was like, okay, forget it. Like, no.
What do you think for Tesla are its biggest risks going forward and biggest challenges?
The biggest one?
Yeah. Yeah. Because like obviously nothing is guaranteed, Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. So
nothing is guaranteed for
so
sure.
what does Tesla have to focus on and execute toward? What are the things that could go wrong that maybe they need to, try to mitigate? Why isn't it inevitable that Tesla, dominates everything? There's always that risk, right? Some risk, whether it's a tiny risk or a bigger risk. But what do you think, could derail the Tesla story?
Well, I would say Elon Musk. What if one day, like something happened, knock on the wood, but yeah, this is one of the biggest, if you have to say, to happen, and the government policy change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the supportive of the EVs revolution, like maybe China, maybe US, we don't know, because this is out of our control and our calculation. Like, we can't do anything.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
What is your thought?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I think a lot of it actually is on valuation, meaning, I think Tesla's past a place where they're a legitimate automaker. Now, the question is, how big do they get? How much market cap do they deserve? Whether, they deserve multi-trillion dollars in the future, or, just, a lot less than that. And there are obviously a lot of, risks with that. I mean, I'm wondering, like, for me, I think, yeah, definitely, in order for Tesla to execute, they need a lot of things to go in their favor. They need Elon or someone of his caliber, leading for the long term. They need, to continue to make the best products, by a margin.
Yeah.
Full self-driving needs to work out. It
Full
really,
self-driving,
it has to.
Sure.
Their battery
Has to.
production, needs to
Because
ramp.
we are pricing for perfection right now.
Exactly, yeah. The battery production
Yeah.
needs to ramp. You can't have 3 years where they're messing up, battery production. There's a lot of stuff.
I know.
I wonder, in your perspective with valuation, do you pay attention to that much at all? Like, do you have some expectations in the future of how big Tesla can become?
My forecast, actually, if I show you, you think I'm the Tesla Q,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm being more conservative, I would say, like, as of, even though with the recent price drop, we are priced in for perfection of the execution in the next at least 2 to 3 years. Yeah, so my expectation for Tesla itself, the valuation, the market cap, or the stock price, will be around like 25 to 30% compound for the next few years. I don't expect something like last year.
Yeah.
Like 7x, like, we know it's not gonna. I wouldn't complain if it happens, but I didn't expect it will happen like that, and as also, like, we are included in the S&P 500, so the volatility should drop. not like before.
Yeah.
And since the sentiment of the market changed about Tesla, so there won't be like a lot of surprise to the market from now on.
Yeah.
At least not like upside surprise.
Yeah. This past few weeks, like Tesla dropped, 30% or more actually, or the past month or so, right? Like, do you care about the volatility, the fluctuations? Do you look at your portfolio and say, "Oh man, last month I was, better off than this month. What's going on?"
Yeah, it's quite painful just to look at it for sure for all of us, But I have my own target price for 5 years and 10 years. So how to get there, it doesn't matter for me, but it will go up and down for sure. But yeah, I'll just stay focused on the long-term perspective and the execution and stuff like that. So yeah, it's painful for sure to look at it.
So does having a 5-year kind of personal price target, 10-year personal price target, does that help you kind of to weather some of the short-term like ups and downs? Because you're saying later it's going to be worth more, you think, in your opinion.
Yes, especially after the FSD and Robotaxi and the energy side of business. It will surprise a lot of people, but the market is more of the short-term thinking, like what's going to happen next quarter, what's going to happen next week or next month or stuff like that. And the way we look at Tesla since day one, we're looking at 5 year, 10 years from now on. So what's going to happen? Like what's the delivery number this quarter? It doesn't bother me a lot. But if something bad things happen, I'll take advantage of it. Yeah.
Of course, none of this is investing advice or financial advice to anybody listening. This are just two random two people talking. But what is your personal price targets for a 5-year and 10-year?
You really want to know?
I mean, I'm just curious to get me some idea of
My 2025 is 1,700.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, it's a little bit more than double from here. Yeah, because I like to be conservative.
Yeah, sure.
Like I said, I prepare for the worst and then hope for the best.
Yeah. How about your 10-year price target?
10 years, I would say around this. I have a table right here for myself. Around like 6,500. 6,500. Yeah, 10 years.
Okay. So about 6.5. I mean, it's helpful after the stock split that it's almost 1 billion shares. So 6.5 billion market cap is, or no, 6,500. That's about a $6.5 trillion market cap.
6.5, with Robotaxi and also the energy side pick up and stuff like that, and maybe more about. And also one thing people don't talk a lot about the App Store. I think that is a huge potential of the ecosystem of Tesla. Like what you're gonna do with the full self-driving when it's ready. You're gonna do something with the big screen, right? So they're gonna have their own App Store, and just like Apple, So how do you think about this one?
Yeah. I mean, on one side, some people might say, oh, people will just use their phones or bring an iPad into the car, right? And use, but then on the flip side, maybe Tesla can have bigger screens, right? Like better screens, like multiple screens, like, built in, and then somehow make use of, the environment to make it a better experience, and the internet connection. What if you had a mobile Starlink right on your Tesla built in, like somehow where it doesn't even look like you have anything, but you get super high speed, internet on the go. I mean, you get some of that obviously with just having LTE or different things, but what if you could do significantly better, and you could do it everywhere in the world? Like, you could take a road trip,
Yep.
national park trips, and you can have super high speed internet access anywhere. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, besides games, what other apps do you think could go on this Tesla App Store?
Um, Something like Yelp's like recommendation of the restaurant. That is, I think that is a pretty will be like a pretty good uh, business for Tesla too. Like recommendation of like, well, and the restaurant may have to put their their name up there for review and how many star and stuff like that. And what else? Like movies, music. Um, that's a lot of opportunity with the App Store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Tesla Engage, the social platform that Tesla is?
Yeah, I just signed up like
Yeah. So what's
Friday
going
or something like.
what's going on? Why do you think Tesla is doing this? Really, is it just an upgrade to their old forums? They're just changing it out, or do you think, some more ambitious plans with
I
Tesla
didn't have
Engage?
time to play around yet.
Hmm.
Did you try it yet?
No, not yet. Yeah.
It seems like it is able to post some activities and some news and information up there. I'll try it after like the interview today. I want to
Yeah.
get
Okay.
because
Yeah, I
yesterday
should
was
try that
too
too.
busy about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of people are asking about Palantir, stock ticker PLTR, and I know various folks are starting to pay attention, including Kathy Wood of ARK, and you recently tweeted about kind of you're starting to buy their stock. Um, I guess two questions. Like, what is your level of conviction right now, right, with Palantir?
Uh,
Um, and then what is kind of your bull thesis? Like, why
go.
are you excited about,
Okay.
the stock?
Okay. The I start to know, get to understand this company like few months ago about what because usually I don't like friends recommendation about okay you should buy this because I would never listen to one person tell me to buy because and then you're gonna listen to another person tell you to sell because you don't understand the company. So one of my friend actually told me about this company and it caught my attention because their government contract with the CIA, the FBI, and the story that he told me about this company actually developed a software able to help the U.S. government to track down Bin Laden. I was like, okay, this is quite interesting. Let me deep dive into a company. So once I look more into the company, I found out that they from the government side of business, even though the SEC, the CDC, they are Palantir's customers, and also like so I'm deep dive into another video about the company like I think it's like a couple months ago. Give me like a higher level of conviction. Is the demo day. They show you like how the platform works. Like they actually building a I'll just explain like the most simplest way because there's a lot of video on YouTube. You guys can go take a look. It's like they're building a simulation twins. They call this the digital twins. So it plug in your real world data for your company, and then they mod a business online. So you keep adding layers to it. And then they have something called the simulation engine. So you don't have to take risk of your real world um, from the real world, but they give you the result. What if you lower the price? What if you build a manufacturer? What if you change the supply chain line? What's going to happen and affect each single department of your company? So I was thinking like, okay, if they're able to make this software in a lower level, like a lower tiers, right now it's quite expensive. Lower tiers, I might myself might want to try it. So, but my conviction right now is very small because it's a new company, and my knowledge about this is very limited. So I just deploy like a very small amount into it.
Interesting. In some of your other tweets, you've mentioned SpaceX as kind of your, seems like your second highest conviction, right? In terms of stocks. You've put, it seems like one of your tweets are saying you have almost 75% in Tesla, 25% in SpaceX. Or, let's say indirectly in SpaceX, because it's tough to, you can't just buy SpaceX off the table. But what are your thoughts with SpaceX? Like, do you think SpaceX has potential to become $1 trillion company in 10 years? Where is its potential?
The valuation of SpaceX right now is it's dirt cheap, to be honest with you. Like, from my perspective, it's the recent round is 75, 76, around 70 something billion dollars. That will be $1 trillion company with no doubt. I even think that like the Starlink itself will be worth $1 trillion in the long run. Yeah, because I remember you talk about Starlink in one of your video about if you're able to get in early, that is a golden opportunity, I think. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if to SpaceX if opportunity, but the demand was crazy that it's not easy to buy this day.
Someone asks, like, how do you invest in SpaceX? But I think that's a complicated topic. I've been going through a long.
We need another 2 hours.
It's and even that, it's like it's very a tricky one. Let's go into some of a couple more viewer questions here.
Sure.
Tony Wong says, "Hey Dave, can you ask Vincent about his recent LEAP call, so long expiration dated option call, for January 2023? I think it was in the money that you tweeted, that you put on last Friday. So why buy deep in the money January 2023 option calls on Tesla versus just stock?"
So it gives me an opportunity to decide to execute the stock in 2023 or before 2023. So when I bought the strike, I bought is 500 cost on 2023 January, and was like 240 something per contract. So it actually called, if I'm going to execute the stock in 2023, it will be like 700, less than 750, just say less than 750. So by my own calculation in 2022, the stock will, end of 2022, my expectation will be something around $1,000. So it has a good chance to be in the money. And the reason why I bought the in the money, because I don't like the time decay and also the volatility. And I believe the stock will trade within a certain range in the coming years. Just like, I'll give you an example about, because I owned the Amazon for a long time. In 2018 to 2018 to 2000, wait, hold on, it's 2018. Back then was a range of the time they trade within $1,500 to $2,000 for over almost like 2 years. The P ratio was close to 1,000 that time. So the companies keep growing, and then the P started to drop from 1,000 to like something, I don't know, like lower, and the stock price start to climb because takes time to catch up from the valuation. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Do you have, I guess, are you fun? Where do you get, I guess, here's another question actually from, Anil Sharma says, how how did Vincent allocate his funds to buy Tesla and still have living expenses? I have two kids going to college and it's hard. So are you using your income from your business to continue to buy kind of investments?
Yeah.
So you have
Yes.
incoming
And
extra money that
yeah.
you're using basically.
And also like some share I sold from like last year,
Okay.
Apple and yeah, Amazon. Like I don't deploy them all in once.
Yeah.
So I just wait a little bit. Like if I feel comfortable, I buy a little bit here, and then when it dips, I buy a little bit here, and just wait a little bit and buy.
Got it.
And also like I used to sell puts, the out of money, like extremely out of money puts. So it helps to generate some capital when I need it to buy more shares.
I see.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, it sometimes with your tweets, it seems like you're buying when it goes up and buying when it goes down. You're just constantly just picking some, picking up Tesla over
I
time.
didn't buy a lot though.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, like I don't want to like when I put out a tweet like this. Sometimes I feel like I worry people using that to
Sure.
Yeah, like because when I'm building my position is also the conviction is about like when the uncertainty drops, I'm willing to put more money into it.
Yeah.
And as the company develop, I can put a little bit more until a point it's like, okay, that's it. That's enough. Or I found a different opportunity.
Yeah. How close are you, or have you reached it to the point where you're like, I have enough, or my long-term number of Tesla shares I've reached?
Actually, it's over already.
Oh, okay.
I just keep adding a little bit by a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's hard to find a company like it's just not easy to find one company to put your money into it. Even though I talk about we just talk about the penalty, I don't have like a really high conviction. Even though Kathy would like putting money into it, it just takes time for you to learn, and you have to wait and see if the management told you it's going to happen, is that they can execute.
Yeah.
If they did, then okay, I'll put a little bit more into it. If they did what they told you from 3 months ago or like half years ago, you feel more comfortable about the future because they have credit about what they told you. That's how I'm seeing it. Yeah.
With SpaceX, when was that moment where you're like, I need to invest in this? Like I am convicted that this is very undervalued. Like when was that time?
It's a long story, like from 2 years ago.
Okay.
But it's very tough to find the way to invest in SpaceX. Like it's a very, very long story, like, and some company out there you just don't understand or you don't have faith about, because the whole private equity market is not as open as the public market. Like you just click a button and just buy, and you want to sell, just sell it in one single click, So it takes me a while to find the way to invest in SpaceX. And yeah, like I was planning to do this like 2 years ago.
Interesting. Zen Lee says, how does Vincent manage his time, his portfolio, and his company, and tweet all at the same time? And then she also goes on and says, what is his relationship, or I guess connection to Tesla? What kind of data sources or employees, let's say, do you know? Where I guess the bigger question, I guess, is with data, like, are you getting like different tips from people? Have you kind of cultivated relationships with people in the know?
Yeah, like my Twitter DM is open, so people actually able to send me information. I do get a lot of trash DM like every day.
Yeah.
So like you if you open your DM, that like people do advertisements and some crazy stuff, and so I will have to filter everything, and then to see the people who gave me info, are they legit from the previous one? Otherwise, like I will have to double confirm with, maybe I'll ask around with my friends, and some people might know someone to double confirm, see if this is correct before we putting out the the tweet or even the articles.
Yeah.
And how do I manage my time? Like, I don't sleep a lot. I sleep like 3 hours to 4 hours a
Are
day.
you serious? How do you
I'm serious.
how do you function?
I'm doing this since college.
Really? Wow.
I don't like 6 hours is too much for me already.
Wow.
I don't need an alarm clock. I just wake up by myself.
Wow.
In 4 hours, in 5 hours, yeah.
I see. So 3 to 5
Yeah.
hours, something around there.
I would say
Four
hours,
hours?
5 hours. Yeah, 5
4 or 5
hours
hours.
is my
Okay.
normal, yeah,
Wow.
normal sleeping
So
time.
does that help you?
It's not because of
Yeah.
it, yeah, like I get to have like more time to work, you know, and like you know, like tweaks sometimes takes time,
Yeah.
right? And research takes time, and I don't spend that much time to manage my portfolio, to be honest with you. Like, I just check the stock price in the morning, and I just check the second time I check the stock price is after my lunch. It will be like around 1:30. So I just check, oh, okay, yeah, wow, went up a lot. And like last week, I was like, holy shit, it's like it went down a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. You should, so I just have a new product idea for your company.
Sure, it's welcome. Yeah, tell me.
Just as you're talking, you can make a wall clock, like a wall. It's a clock that goes on the wall, and then
Okay.
it shows the time, and then it's a Wi-Fi clock, so it connects to your Wi-Fi, right? And
Okay.
and then on the bottom it has the time on the top. On the bottom it has the real-time Tesla quote. Stock quote.
That'll be interesting. That's a must-have for all Tesla investors.
Exactly. I mean, that would be pretty cool. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, just sticking it on, always know the stock price and the time at the same time.
No, when the price going up, it's quite
Yeah.
fascinating. But when the times is going down, it's like painful.
Actually,
You want to shut it off.
yeah,
you know?
actually, I just did an interview with James Dalma, who's an AI expert, and it's a great interview about Tesla stock price. And he has this interesting strategy. He's been in the market for decades, but he likes to watch the stock more when it goes up because it gives him makes him feel good, you know. Like,
Yeah.
And then when the stock goes down, he doesn't like to look at the stock. He just actually purposely like stops looking at the stock because he doesn't want investing to be a negative experience. He wants investing to be positive,
Oh.
and he
Okay.
trusts his long-term, you know, kind of thesis and
That's good.
goals, right? So
That's
you
good.
can have a mode on the clock. It's called long-term investor mode or
Oh, okay.
something. And then when the stock is going up,
doesn't work at all.
when the stock is going up for the day, it's like it shows
show
you,
it.
and then when it's down, it just turns off. Yeah, there's no stock price. And then you can have quotes
Yeah,
or something like Warren Buffett quotes about long-term investing.
That's the time you need it,
Exactly.
to watch those quotes. Yeah, like
Yeah.
investing is fun, you know. Like I just feel bad when I see people like panicking
Yeah.
and making like wrong decision when the price drop. You know, it's normal for price to drop. People have to accept a stock not only going it's either go up or down. So if it's not going up, it's going down. So you have to get used to it. Like a lot of people just, especially for the new investor, Tesla investor, they get panic when see the price decline and in high percentage. Like us, we've been investing a long time. Like we see from 930 to 300 something. That's like slash like 2/3 of the market cap, right? It's not too long ago, last year or 19 or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Bruce Burnworth says, "What will you do with your Tesla wealth to make the world better?"
Yeah, I spoke with Bruce the other day about this, and I'm still thinking like maybe we can do something to give back to the community or so to help out. Yeah, to make the world better. I just don't have any good idea yet. Like, yeah, if you have anything let me know. I'm willing to
Yeah.
help too.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get you into Emmett and I have been talking about trying to just give grants to people who can start new businesses, like small grants, tiny grants. Because,
Oh, okay.
like for example, you said you started just with what, $2,000 with your business or something?
Yeah, $2,000 to $5,000,
Yeah,
like few grand. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
started my business with $500. That's all
Ooh,
it took.
wow.
Emmett started his IRA account with $2,700. That's all he ever put into that whole account. But yeah, I think
Wow.
sometimes people underestimate the power of just small amounts. If you have,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the right market opportunity,
And great idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have idea and execution. But
Yeah.
there's something interesting. But yeah, I think that definitely, I think that's going to be a
Yeah.
interesting topic.
That'll
Just
be
how,
very
yeah,
interesting.
just how to use resources to help others to do something that can really impact the world, start a cycle of positivity. But yeah, Vincent, it's been very fun. It's been a pleasure to chat with you and to hear all of your different thoughts on so many different topics. How can people find you? I know you're on Twitter. I'll link to your Twitter account in the video description.
you.
I know it's Vincent, and then you have like 1 3 something something. What are the numbers there? A few people asked about that.
That's just the number Twitter gave me, when I first started the account. And then for the time being, people start to remember this, and I'm so used to it. And I started to remember the numbers. I was like, okay, I'll just keep using this. And even though my the Weibo Chinese social media are using the same exact handle on purpose, just to make sure people know it's me. So I was like, yeah, I'll just keep using it. It's normal. And thanks for having me. It's fun to talk to you too.
Yeah, awesome. One last question. What do you think is Tesla's next product reveal going to be?
When?
Or what? Yeah, what do you think?
25,000.
You think that's going to be the next one? Really?
Yeah, I think.
When do you think?
Do
you think that could happen?
Next year.
Next year. Okay.
Next year, I would say. After the Cybertruck started delivery stably, I think they will plan to do the $25,000 unveiling. What do you think?
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah, I think it seems like they're already. I mean, it seems like they just need to get battery production. Like that's their focus.
Yeah, the battery content.
Yeah, I mean, they need everyone focused on that. But do you think they're already starting design like efforts in China? And
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a scientific rocket stuff, like to design the whole new vehicle. There might be they already have the original design with them, because like I just my feeling, like Tesla already they will start to do something like years before, and then people start to find out in 2-3 years later, and rumors start to come out, and then they launch the product in 5 years. So actually they everything we're seeing it right now, just my feeling, everything we're seeing it right now, it actually happened internally in Tesla, maybe like at least like 3 years ahead.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
Yeah. No, it reminds me of someone was asking about on Twitter, full self-driving, like, oh, why do we need to include it in any projections when it's so early on, right? But then if you think about it, Tesla's been working on this problem for a long time, It's like,
exactly.
like down from AP1, like what, 2014 or something, right? I mean, it's been like probably 7 years or something. So it's
almost a decade.
Yeah, it's not the first like couple years that Tesla's working on this. Like they developed, so much. They have, just thousands of people on this problem. Elon Musk at Autonomy Day in 2019 was saying the whole company is structured for autonomy. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
And it's not something that is taken lightly. It's been many years and years. And I think for a lot of people who might just look at Tesla shallowly or just as too quickly, they don't see that history, And with for Tesla to get to where they're at with batteries, they've been working on this for, since the beginning.
since the beginning. Yeah,
And
it's been a very long time.
yeah, it's not something new that, oh, it's like Tesla's never made any batteries. There's a lot of expertise and things that goes into this.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like the image of a glacier, where
Yep.
you only see a little bit, but the reality is there's so much underneath the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Vincent, have a great day, and
You too,
we'll talk to
Dave,
you
and
in a
thanks for
bit.
having
All
me.
right, thanks again.
Okay.
We'll see you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks.